Amazing to look at bridge construction today, you know, in comparison to how they used to do it in the old days. Just a small breeze, and that's all it takes, and so no reflections today.
Across to our left there at 1 o'clock. And Jimmy's wife and daughters were great ice skaters, so not a bad place to live if you need somewhere to practice, is it? Well, they were champion ice skaters.
Bow Lake. Well, let's go hypothetically.
Cerulean. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
cerulean.
Cerulean blue. Not aquamarine. No. Well, if you're going to paint it, you use cerulean. You paint it? I'm learning. I go art. Here to do that.
Yes, yes. It wouldn't work off a photo, would it?
No, it doesn't work very well, no.
Where are you? Oh, yeah. Smoking some all that going there.
Oh, go.
That's one big thing, isn't it?
You do see the doctors in this pool to bring them, but I've never seen one.
No.
The one with the rubbish bin by it. I've never been on a bar.
After you come off the ice field. Yeah, it's amazing. There is life everywhere on the planet, of one form or another. Great big fish worth fishing for now. Yes, you do. Question, do we get off the Ice Explorer? Yes, you've got to have your snowboard, which is the Athabasca Glacier. This would first station the Athabasca River, but the Athabasca Glacier is the one on which we go, and there are 5 or 6 others around the rim of the ice field. The Columbia ice field is it the largest accretion of frozen water in North America? I think it probably is.
Yeah, I think they were nipping at the cooking cherry when they named it. These are the waterfowl lakes. You might get some reflection here. Wilson, and that's named after Tom Wilson. The
melt comes, and so a large volume of water, it will carve its own fresh channels the easiest way it can. The appropriate place to push somebody off the road is this graveyard flats. The water courses inside the rock for quite a way and then emerges and comes down the surface. It's known as a weeping wall.
So the photos are out of action too?
We walk across a bridge, a bowed bridge, and if you look to the left of the building, you'll see some tiered seats and stands.
Yeah, where do you want to?
8.
Along here?
Where do you want to? Some of the other beauties on the talk among yourselves. I want to
Come on, Pinocchio.
I thought I'd lost you, my little treasure.
Sorry, put your window open.
I know how to drive this, don't worry. I may be technologically insufficient, but I do know how to drive this thing. So we're going to make our way about 2 kilometers to the what we call the turnaround point, where we'll stop and you can feel free to walk around, explore the glacier for yourself. Usually it's between 10 and 20 minutes. You get to do that. And along the way I'll just point out all the interesting facts on the area, and feel free to sit back and enjoy. I'm sure you'll have a good time. You chose a very nice, clear day to come see the glacier, so enjoy. believe it or not, this glacier in 1843 reached as high as the top of that moraine. So you can see in 150 years just how long it's melted, how much it's melted, I should say. Now those rocks fell down from various reasons, primarily because of the water getting in between the cracks of the rocks. Rocks were just not loose because the water was remaining unstable mountaintop. Also, avalanches bring all the rocks down in a very place. So you can imagine how much it's quite a treacherous area. Now you can see in front of you, to your left-hand side and your right-hand side, what appears to be smaller walls. I mean, these are actually called iceberg moraines. These are just piles of ice. That is very treacherous. A lot of people think it's cool when you're climbing on these. The rocks actually hide very deep in the holes inside of the ice itself. Or right here at the ice field. The other one is used by the U.S. government for expeditions in Antarctica, believe it or not. And they cost about $750,000 each. But we have 6-wheel drive, which gives us good traction.
Packed snow, isn't it?
But the top's loose enough that you don't slide.
Freezing, isn't it?
Well, the same thing happens here when water finds a weak point in the ice. It will just travel around and around and create a huge hole in the ice. And that hole is actually 125 meters deep, if you can believe that. We actually have experts coming around here, and they like to go all the way to the bottom with ice picks, all the way to the bottom. Could you imagine? Oh well. And you also notice all the... Actually, we're following a fabled story that said there was 2 Himalayan-sized mountains in the Canadian Rockies. Obviously,
He said, "You are in fine shape. You've been drinking that glacial water, eh?" He said, "Yep." He said, "It's really done me good." He said, "Tell me, Jim, how old was your dad when he passed away?" He said, Dad, he's 115. He windsurfs in the summer and he snows skis in the winter." I said, "My God, that glacial water." He said, "Yep." He said, "Tell me, how old was your granddaddy when he passed away?" He said, "Granddad, Dad, he's 135. He's getting married next week." He said, "Why would he want to get married at 135? He said, "Want to?" Everybody get a shot? Can you see?
Yep.
It's on a bend, the double yellow line, so we can't really stop.
We'll get something. The word Athabasca actually means where there are reeds. And it does not pertain to this area, but further north at Lake Athabasca. That's Indian terminology.
They were unique. Everything you see on your right hand side, heading on the way we're pointing, is rail track. The restaurant on the right. It's quite a nice little pizza place upstairs on the left, at the where the green is here. A little sort of general store. The butler here.
Oh, just stay there. Oh, brilliant! Oh,
There's the mule deer, yeah.
hello, that's
If you're, just a couple of words on photographing wildlife from the bus. There's another one just behind, further back. Couple of things. Signal. Down the plug hole. And there are lots of plug holes down this end.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It looks like a pike, doesn't it?
It's really giving him a telling off. Yeah.
Tame, isn't
Giving
it?
it well.
Yeah.
A noisy little biker.
Yeah, Colin's there.
Nice one.
Nice one. Hold it. How's my do? It's gone.
Lay down somewhere like 300 million years ago. In comparison to the older rock you find on the main range. Had a geologist on board one day, and his wife told me that he was a geologist, and I said, "How am I doing there?" He said, "Great." He said,
I mean, I'm bad, but I've wised up to myself now. That's the thing.
But she said it's brown bear.
I lost it the last boat when I went in sick.
Procedures once. You guys are in good hands today. It doesn't mean that everything is 78 years old though. It gets inspected every year and placed as need be. And you may also notice as we're going down the lake, you might feel the boat suddenly slow down or come to a stop. And if you do, it's nothing to worry about. Just the captain here being the nice guy that he is. He's slowing down the boat and he's killing our wake. Our wake is what we give off on the back end of the boat. If you guys look out the back, it's almost like a tidal wave. So if we pass canoers and kayakers that are beginners and they don't really know how to handle this wake, we can tip them over into this cold water and they could possibly drown or die. So that's why we kill our wake, we slow it down so we're not tipping anybody into this cold water. We pass any of our sister vessels or other boats like this one, we will not slow down. We'll hit their wake at full speed, you bump and a splash like that. Nothing to worry about, it's probably the funnest part of the trip. And it only lasts about 5 seconds. And I'll give you a warning before it happens, because sometimes people have their cameras out the window when we hit the wake crossings, and some people have been known to actually lose their cameras and whatnot. So I'll let you know. Have a nice. Other than that, if anyone wants to go outside on the back deck, you guys are more than welcome to as well. Just 2 rules. One, it's no smoking, it's a non-smoking vessel. All around, Wales, Manchester, Yorkshire. Oh really? Yeah. People ask, well, how did the fire start? And they don't really know how it started. They do know that it was human caused. They say there's a lot of hiking trails in behind there, so perhaps it was a smoker, didn't properly put out their cigarette, caught in the forest floor because it was really dry. Or, what the warden tells us, it was most likely a bear banger. You guys know what a bear banger is? Not really? It's about the size of a pen, just about that big, that wide, and you carry it in your pocket. It's really, really light, and really, really convenient. So if you're doing any backcountry hiking or camping or anything like that, you just take out this bear banger, and if you see any wildlife, any moose or black bears, grizzly bears, you take it out and fire it off. It sounds like a gunshot, loud explosive noise. It sends a little bit of a flare like a firework. So of course when you have a flare like a firework, you're going to have a spark, and they figured that maybe the spark caught on the forest floor as well, and that's what started the fire. The reason what happened, or why it's occurring like that, there was actually a glacier coming down, carving out that valley right there. And when it was carving out that valley, it was a really, really small glacier compared to the other glaciers that were around. I mean, look at the size of the valley that a lake sits in today. The glacier once sat in here. That tells you how big the glacier was that was coming down here. And right over there is actually where the 2 glaciers collided. This one being the much bigger coming down the lake, stopped that glacier right in its tracks. So it kind of got hung there, or stopped there. So it's known as a suspended valley or a hanging valley. So the Samson slide, that's at about a 40 to 45 degree angle. This is about 60 to 65, so it's steeper. So not as much snow is accumulating, therefore not as much is being released when the avalanches are triggered. And they don't come down all the way to the lake. There's a couple here that do a little further on, but generally they're smaller avalanches. That's the same glacier over there, that's what's left of it today. And you're actually only seeing 10% of it right now. The rest of it is tucked in behind that mountain peak over there. It doesn't look very big from here, and eventually over time it evaporated. So if you were to climb up there and look in, it would look like a giant sand dune. Just a bunch of little crushed up rock and stuff like that. You see right over there, all those dead trees as well. And this one's much more impressive, because this is the closest we get to the glacier. See the 2 peaks up there covered in snow, or glacial ice, Charlton. And right in there you're going to find 3 types of glaciers. The first glacier you see with the bottom right hand corner missing out of it, sitting in the valley in the lowest part, is obviously called a valley glacier. Directly above that, you're going to see what looks like a giant snowball that's stuck to the mountainside. It's called a hanging glacier. And then in between the 2 mountain peaks you're going to find a dome or a cap glacier. You can see as that glacier is melting, the creek or waterfall coming down to the valley there. And right over here on the right is where we're getting the water supply from that glacier. Anybody like to drink vodka? Smirnoff vodka in particular? Yeah. On your nose, I'll tell you why. We have glaciers on both sides of us, almost parallel with each other. You can see the waterfall coming down. It's eroding away at the mountainside, creating this fine sediment. The sediment is being deposited into the lake. Eventually sediment builds up higher and higher over years, but eventually this land is being formed. These are known as alluvial fans. It's actually shorelines that are growing closer together. All these shorelines and these trees never used to be here a couple hundreds of years ago. It's constantly growing. At about a rate of 1 inch per year, like I said. And with the amount the glaciers are melting, the amount of sediment being deposited into the lake, they're saying maybe like in another 250, 300 years that the shorelines are going to touch. They'll pinch off the lake entirely. And we'll actually have a northerly lake, we'll have a southerly lake. This area here is where you'll really see the water change color. And entering this area right now, this is the deepest part of the lake. This is about 97 meters or 318 feet around the lake. It feeds us with about 70% of our water supply. And then if you look closely at the top middle portion of that glacier, you're going to see a little black speck. Yeah. Bear. Be a big bear.
I don't want to see that guy.
No, it's actually called a Nunatak. What that is, it's actually a mountain peak that's underneath the glacier. Nobody knew that mountain peak was there, but as the glacier is melting more and more, you're starting to see more and more of the mountain peak being present. Okay, so we just did a quick little turnaround on the bay there. We can't go any further than there, and I'll also tell you why we can on the way back. So right now, we just got to go over a few things.
$250,000 washrooms.
Okay, everybody enjoy that? Beautiful day, isn't it? Nice fresh air. I'm sure you all got some nice pictures as well? Excellent. Oh, so two things I was going to talk about right off the bat. The first one is why we can't go any further than where this boat's going to be going. We went into that little bay there. The reason why we can't go into the Canadian National Parks is right now we're in a Zone 3. Right to Pin Cushion Bay there. What that means is the daytime use only. So we can have our combustible motors in this area, but only in the daytime. Yeah, you usually see a lot of them over there in the spring of the year, and we hadn't seen them for about 2 months. Last week, last Thursday, they actually came back. There was a herd of 12 of them right over there.
Oh, baby, got silly legs. I have no idea turn around and go around the car.
Other end of medicine.
Looks so good.
They're all having a lovely siesta, aren't they?
Couldn't get my hair so perfect today.
Oh, how's my hair? I already told him it's the most important thing in Rockies.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Moose Lake with no moose unless they're all swimming underneath the surface.
British Columbia now, isn't it?
cobs and cloud covered.
Turtle sandwich. Yeah, I suppose I can see it. I can see the hair and shoulders and womanly hips, but
I don't know. were driving in, he said they were sending up smoke signals to welcome us.
Yeah.
It's always a sign of a quality town. Fly back, I guess you do.
Yeah, eventually until after the Civil War. And a lot of blacks actually moved out west and took up the role of cowboy. Haul the salmon out of the water right down below and in other cans.
Is this here?
No matter what.
No, it's alright. I think he's probably going to get one.
Well, they're over there as well.
Yeah.
How about that?
Pleasure tonight. We'll be finished. It's off to your right, the disc on the stick. To put it bluntly. These glass blocks, glass faces, are all residential blocks.